Hello, welcome back to TCOMM Monday. I hope everyone is doing really well. We've had a 4th of July holiday for those who celebrate, and I'm pretty sure lots of birthdays out there and anniversaries. And just on the topic of celebration, we're going to talk about today how important self-care is to ourselves. Taking vacations, having celebrations, celebrating holidays and birthdays and so forth. That's all a part of self-care. Oftentimes when we have children that may have behavior problems, we do celebrations for them, but we often skip on doing celebrations for ourselves, celebrating who we are and the fact that we exist, and the fact that we are an essential part of our children's lives. And so we don't want to skip on that. We don't want to miss out on taking care of ourselves and having a good time and being able just to celebrate who we are as a family element and as individuals. But what we want to talk about, even more specifically in self-care, is how do we take care of ourselves either on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis, and even annually. Sometimes people don't really do anything for themselves except for once a year. But we want to find more healthier ways to be able to take care of ourselves much more often than once a year. So just talk a little bit about some of the things that we do for self-care. So we can start with books. One thing that people do in order to kind of feed their soul is to read self-help books or guidebooks, workbooks, like what we're talking about today, but some that kind of touch our spirit and our soul and speak to our hearts. And some share experiences that other people have gone through and that are similar or parallel to ours, and we're able to relate and kind of see how they handle certain situations. And it gives us insight and feedback into how we can handle certain situations, whether it's individually or with our children or other family members and friends. And just helping us deal with things on a day-to-day basis. It's also, very insightful to read other people's experiences, which may not parallel with ours at all. However, they still let us know how people are able to survive different circumstances and events that happen in their lives on a daily basis. So other things for self-care. And I don't know, oftentimes when we talk about self-care, we're talking about moms, we're talking about aunts, we're usually talking about females. So they can get their hair done and their nails done, go into the spa, get, manicures, massages and so forth. But this is for moms and dads. This is for brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, both males and females. And we all get stressed sometimes. And so we have to find ways to take care of ourselves, to be able to know that, we're being rejuvenated somehow. And so that we can continue on to work with the children that are a part of our family that may have behavior and emotional needs that we need to attend to. And we need to be calm as possible and relaxed and at peace with ourselves so that we can help them more. And so that's a part of self-care. You want to be in a position where you are physically and emotionally able to give yourself and your time and your energy to the child in need that you need to spend time with, and not feeling frustrated or overwhelmed. And that's one reason why self-care is so important. So it doesn't matter whether you're getting, some type of beauty, self-care, emotional, psychological self-care, whether you're reading, you join some type of support group or maybe a book club of some sort, to be able to get your needs met, to be able to talk about things that are overwhelming to you and perhaps get feedback from other people who may be struggling through something similar and give you some feedback on how to deal with that. Or just like reading a book with someone going through a situation that you've never gone through, being able to hear feedback from other people who have experienced some things that are overwhelming, even though they're not exactly like yours, and just seeing how they get through it and how getting through those things and processing those things allows them to be better helpers to the children who might have behavior and emotional disorders. So that's our topic. That's what we want to talk about. I would love, love, love to hear more from you about things you do for self-care, and just share that with us. And maybe we can talk about it one day and be able to put it out in the world so everyone can hear it and learn some things from it. So sometimes there's things that we do to help us with self-care. I know myself, I love to garden. Not necessarily the part about getting dirty and getting down in the dirt. You have to do that. I do not like weeds, nor do I like pulling weeds, but you have to do that. So as a part of my self-care persona there is actually going to the garden every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day if I have a chance. And it only takes, 5 or 10 minutes, but to just sit with seeds that I planted and I see brand new sprouts coming up, or seeing flowers come on the plants, knowing that you're going to get your fruit soon, and then seeing the small little piece of fruits. And I'm, speaking of fruits or vegetables growing, and then see them get larger and larger and larger to get to the point that it's time to eat that. And then another therapeutic part for me with the gardening is actually being able to store some of that foods, being able to cook that food and have your family have some nice, fresh, organic vegetables, and being able to hear them say, this doesn't taste like it come from the grocery store. This come from the garden. And so what does it taste like? And so it's much more fresher. Like, that is really amazing. So that's my self-care. That's something that I do for self-care. And I really, really, really enjoy gardening. And I can't say that I've done gardening all my life because I have not. But when I did have an opportunity to garden, I took it, and it was an amazing feeling. Just peaceful and relaxing. And I think for gardening too is like a feeling of some form of success, that you've achieved something different than whatever the stressful day-to-day life gives you. So that was part of how it was so wonderful, and that adapted to me to be my time for self-care, to just kind of put my mind at ease and everything in the world in perspective. Even just watering the garden, just different things that you do. And of course, the favorite thing is harvesting from the garden when it's time to get the food that you've grown, especially if you're growing from seed. To see that is pretty amazing. To know where it comes from, to know that there's no chemicals or anything on it, and that it's safe for you to eat, and just good, healthy, part of taking care of your family, but also the process of getting through there being very therapeutic in itself. So there's many other things that people do. I know a person who actually makes wine, and they said, the wine is like the aftermath of what's the relief for them for self-care is concerned, but growing the grapes and picking the grapes and be able to go through them, probably eating a couple in the process, is very therapeutic for them. So that's something that they really enjoy. Writing, journaling, putting your thoughts down on paper is a part of self-care. The emotional and psychological strain that it can take off of you to be able to put your thoughts on paper versus holding them in your mind and having yourself feel overwhelmed. So another form of self-care there. Some people like to go out for a meal. Some people like to go out for picnics. Some people like to just go to the park. Some people just like to sit and think with their thoughts. And so all of that are forms of self-care. So anything that you can do, no matter what it is, to help relax your mind, to help ease your thoughts, to help you feel more comfortable and rejuvenated about what's going to happen next in your life, with your children, with your family members. Those are going to be some things that are going to help you in establishing self-care and feeling comfortable and able to deal with things on a daily basis. So why is self-care important? Well, I know one little story that everyone's probably familiar with if you've ever traveled. When you're traveling on an airplane and they tell you about if something happens to this plane, it's going to go down or whatever, you're going to have the oxygen mask fall down. Well, there's a reason why they tell adults, you have a child with you, you need to take your oxygen mask first, put it over yourself so you can breathe, right? So now you are able to take care of your child. If you take the first oxygen mask and put it over the child can breathe, but then you may not be able to save your own life, nor are you going to be able to sustain attempting to save your child's life because you have no oxygen, because you can't breathe yourself. So it's the same concept. you really work on self-care and taking care of yourself so that you are able to take care of your children the way you know that you can do. And when you find yourself falling short of that, or feeling overwhelmed or exasperated, then that's just kind of your body's sign saying it's time to make sure you take care of yourself. It's time to take a break from everything that's going on and really be mindful and in tune with what your body needs. So that's what self care is all about. Really kind of taking care of yourself for yourself, but also so that you are able to take care of those around you that you love. You want to have the energy that, because you get a lot of energy, right? So you want to have the energy that you need to make sure you're there for your child when they need you. So that's all about excuse me, all about self care. All about being mindful of what your body needs, what your mind needs, what your soul needs. And so finally, just want to hit on the physical sense of ourselves when we are overwhelmed, overworked, exasperated, like physically we feel ill. We find ourselves catching colds, getting sniffles, thinking that our allergies are flaring up even when there's nothing around that we're allergic to, and just our immune system that getting pretty low and just kind of easy to get sick. And sometimes we can compromise our systems, right, our body systems, by not taking care of ourselves appropriately, and things happen that cause us to feel uncomfortable. And at some point we have to realize that yes, we have to take a break and we have to take care of our bodies. So that's about self-care. Remember, we want to try to help keep our mind, our bodies, our spirits, and our emotional selves in as much tact as we possibly can, to help ourselves, feel good and healthy, and then being able to help others. So that's all I have for today. I just want to talk a little bit about self-care. I want to make sure in everything that we have going on, in all the workbook, guidebooks, and the journals, that we are talking about really putting all your energy and your effort into your child to help them modify the unwanted, unwelcome behavior. I want to make sure you are also, for sure, taking care of yourself so you're able to do the things that you need to do regarding your children, and that you have the energy that you need in order to take care of them. That's very important. You are very important. And I don't want you to forget that. I want you to always remember that as long as you're taken care of, your child is going to be well taken care of and going to have a healthier mindset about everything, because you have made that possible. And we don't want our children to grow up to, be worried about us. We don't want anyone else to worry about us. And so we have to take care of ourselves in the process of taking care of them. So I will see you soon. Thank you so much again for tuning in to TCOMM-MONDAY. Be sure to check out websites. I have 2 websites that I'd like for you to check out. One of them is called The Color of Me Movement, and that's for TCOMM. And another one is Felton International Therapeutic Coaching. So we're kind of going to try to join the 2 units together. They're very similar but different focuses, but it allows parents to be able to have an opportunity in one area to work on what they need to work on with their children, right? Which is TCOMM, The Color of Me Movement. And then, of course, International Therapeutic Coaching, allowing parents to get the help that they need if they feel as though they need something to be able to talk about the things that they need in the process of doing that. So you're going to be seeing both of those kind of merge together, right? And it'll make things a lot less stressful for parents and everyone else who works with children that have these behavior and emotional issues, to be able to work with and help themselves in the process. So I will see you soon. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like and share. TCOMM-MONDAY.